So, Governor, I have to ask you, in your book, you write about the vetting process. You were considered as amongst the candidates to be Kamala Harris's vice presidential nominee. And in your book, you write about the vetting process that included offensive, unkind, and nasty commentary toward your wife. And at one point, apparently, the Harris team asked if you had ever been an agent of the Israeli government, which, for those who don't know, plays into some very anti-Semitic tropes. How did you feel being asked that, and why do you think you were asked that?
I mean, look, first off, it was an honor to be considered. And throughout that whole process, Laura and I just talked about, is this the best way for us to serve? Is this the best way for us to have an impact, to get stuff done? And as we were reaching the end of this process, where I was quite literally on my way to meet with the vice president, to have, by the way, what ended up being an unbelievably candid and honest conversation, and to this day I'm grateful to her for that candor. I did receive a call on my way in asking me that question really about, I think, dual loyalty, which is how it landed on me. Look, I don't harbor any ill will. These folks had a job to do. They got questions to ask. I'm a big boy. I can take the questioning. But the reason I wrote about it in this book is twofold. One, I want folks to know how I make decisions. There were other sort of forks in the road during my career where I made a decision to go this way when others thought I might go that way. But I want folks to know how I process decisions. And it's always about, how can I still be a good dad, a good husband, and serve the public in the most impactful way? And, you know, that process is also one where everybody gets to talk except for you. Everybody gets to share their feelings except for you. And so I wanted to be, including the vice president, and so I wanted the chance to share my side of what happened.
Thank you.
And so Kamala wrote things about you in her book that weren't very flattering, like saying you wanted to be co-president and all of these things. Then you, and Democrats didn't like it, and she wrote about a bunch of other people who were on the short list as well. Now you're responding and rehashing it all in yours. And so my question, as somebody who wants to move the debate forward and who wants to see a Democrat elected to undo all the craziness and bad things that Trump has done, is what's the point? How does this win one vote? What's the point?
Well, first off, I didn't view my book
as...
It's
dishy, though. It sells books.
I didn't view my book as a response. In fact, I finished that before I ever read hers. So it's hardly a response. I wanted to make sure that I was being forthright with people about what I went through, how I processed these decisions. As I said a moment ago, getting the chance to speak about this for the first time in what is otherwise a process that's pretty closed. And to me, this wasn't about dishing respectfully. It was just more about how we went through the process, what I thought, what I felt coming out of it. And I hope the story there shows that I'm someone who's driven to serve, and to serve in a way that still allows me to be a good dad, a good husband, and have an impact on people's lives. That was my focus. You are right that continuing to look backwards is not the answer. We've got to look forward, and that's why I write about the stories of the people that I've met along the way who've inspired me to serve and make an impact going forward. I think we have some unbelievably talented Democrats in our party. I think we have some amazing governors and members of Congress, mayors and others who do great things. And I think that we have to look ahead, not to 2028, but to 2026, our midterms, and focus on putting some constraints on this lawless administration.
Yeah. And also, as we go to break, because we're going to break, but also, I would appreciate it if the Democrats could be up front with all that they're doing. Because I think part of the problem is we're so used to being lied to, we don't recognize the truth when we get it.